Wavy Boy Productions.
Some of the 2020 Democratic candidates are in Indianapolis today at the National Urban League Conference, like Senator Kamala Harris, who made a reference to President Trump earlier today. Take a listen.
Let's be clear. By taking these challenges on, we don't just move Black America forward. All of America moves forward. All of America will benefit. So let's be bold and build the America we believe in.
The National Urban League, also known as the National League on Urban Conditions Among Negroes, is a nonpartisan historic civil rights organization dedicated to the economic empowerment, equality, and social justice of African Americans. The League was founded on September 29, 1910 in New York City. It was founded by Ruth Standish Baldwin and Dr. George Edmund Haynes. In its early years, it was known as the Committee on Urban Conditions Among Negroes. It would later merge with the Committee for the Improvement of Industrial Conditions Among Negroes, founded in 1906, and National League for the Protection of Colored Women, founded in 1905. This merged organization would be named the National League on Urban Conditions Among Negroes. In 1920, the organization would go by its current name, the National Urban League.
The Urban League collaborates at the national and local levels with community leaders, policymakers, and corporate partners across the nation to elevate standards of living for African Americans and other historically underserved groups. The Urban League spearheads the development of social programs and authoritative public policy research and advocate for policies and services that close the equality gap. Their goal is to help African Americans and others in underserved communities achieve their highest true social parity, economic self-relevance, power, and civil rights, promoting economic empowerment through education and job training, housing and community development, workforce development, entrepreneurship, health, and quality of life.
In 1941, Lester Granger was appointed Executive Secretary and led the National Urban League effort to support the March on Washington proposed by A. Philip Randolph, P.R. Rustin, and A. J. Muste to protest racial discrimination in defense work and the military. A week before the march was scheduled to take place, President Roosevelt issued an executive order creating the Fair Employment Practices. In the wake of World War II, Black veterans who fought racial riots overseas returned to the United States, determined to fight it at home, giving new energy to the civil rights movement, as hundreds of thousands of new jobs opened up, shifting the economy from industrial manufacturing to a white-collar, service-oriented economy. The National Urban League turned its attention to placing HBCU graduates in professional positions.
Civil rights leaders for the March on Washington. Here are some of the presidents of the National Urban League: George Haynes, Eugene Jones, Lester Granger, and Vernon Jr. They all were civil rights activists and civic leaders. It was also the oldest and largest community-based organization of its kind in the nation. Its current president is Mark Morrell. The purpose of the League was to help Southern African Americans who had recently migrated to northern cities to find jobs. The organization was successful under the leadership of Whitney Young, who managed to increase the budget and managed to create 1,000 new jobs for African Americans.
You don't get black power by chanting it. You get it by doing what the other groups have done. The Irish kept quiet. They didn't shout Irish power or Jew power or Italian power. They kept their mouths shut and took over the police department of New York City.